everybody please stand for the salute to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
In accordance with the requirements of the Open Public Meetings Act, I wish to announce that the New Jersey Open Public Meeting Law is enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and to attend a meeting of bodies at which any business affecting their interests is discussed or acted upon. Notices announcing the date, time, and place for this meeting were sent to all concerned individuals, associations, and sent to Union County local source in accordance with Chapter 231 of Public Law 1975. And with that, I will turn it over to Mr. Cologne for the outcome of the presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Jess. So, we'll begin by offering a belated happy birthday. So I'm going to do a belated happy Mother's Day. Moms and so I hope you have a wonderful weekend. So welcome to today's regular meeting. I'm sure most, if not all of you know, that there are a lot of items on the agenda to get accomplished today. Before we enthusiastically welcome Ms. Eileen Kelly to our Board of Education, we have to say goodbye to one of our board members. And so Donna Miller, who served 2 full terms on our Board of Ed, will be leaving us, and I will refer part of our president's and outgoing president's message to Donna, if you have any words as you move on.
I guess I would just say thank you. I would say thank you to the mayor for entrusting me with such an important role. I hope I never did anything that made her cringe or regret her choice. I say thank you to past board members, in particular Celia Colbert, who was a tremendous help to me during a number of very important inflection points. Thank you to past board members and current board members. I hope that the community knows that this is a dedicated group dedicated to nothing, no agenda other than our children and creating an environment that is conducive for our educators so that our children can succeed and be happy, whole, and productive. You guys are amazing, and I will miss all of you. I will miss all of you. Eileen, I wish you all the best for joining a fabulous group. I would say thank you to our students and our educators. You're so easy to support. I would say thank you to our administrators in the buildings, our supervisors, and absolutely in the cabinet. I can't thank everybody. I will call out, with apologies to that entire group, I'll call out 3, Maureen and Doug, who I spent a tremendous amount of time with. The district and the community are in wonderful hands because of the work that they have done to not only bring us into last century, but propel us into the future, both technologically and communication-wise. To Rob, where are you, Rob? To Rob, who stepped up when it was a very scary time, and thank you. Thank you for stepping up. I put you in quite a position, and I appreciate your gaming. And of course, to Scott Huff, who came in at what a time. The word that comes to mind is foxhole. And if I ever have to be in a foxhole on behalf of our children, I will absolutely be in a foxhole with you. I pray to God we never have to do that again. To my family, they ate a lot of dinners without me. My husband cooked a lot of dinners, although he's fine with that. But it takes a lot to do what the people on the board do. And I thank my family for allowing me to do that. And I hope that I haven't forgotten anybody to thank. Just thank you for the opportunity. I hope that I did right by the kids.
Yeah, maybe we did. So I would ask Vice President Cho if you'd like to say a few words on behalf of the board.
Yeah, thank you, Michael. Donna, we first met around 15 years ago when we served together on the Summer YMCA board, which you also chaired. Meeting with you to discuss joining the school board 3 years ago, I knew what to expect when my board term started in May of 2020 with you as the new president. With her outstanding leadership and organizational skills, I knew the board was in good hands with her hand on the wheel. But I think back to how the term started on Zoom, it is an understatement to say that everything she was able to accomplish that year as president in such a challenging environment far exceeded what I thought was possible. Having to hire a new superintendent is hard enough, but adding the challenges of operating during the pandemic is incomprehensible. Despite the constraints of doing everything remotely, she led our board through a very thorough and comprehensive search for a new superintendent. Working with our advisors and council, she managed the process thoroughly, vet all the candidates, scheduled the numerous Zoom interviews, and solicited feedback on the board and lead the many discussions that led to the final decision. Our district has and will continue to benefit from our leadership during the search process, which is truly one of the most consequential decisions the school board has to make. Of course, while the superintendent search was in process, she also worked tirelessly with the administration in dealing with the operational challenges of the pandemic, navigating the end of the school year, and then planning for the start of the next with the administration undergoing the transition to the new program. And looking back now, it all seems like a distant memory. But being my first year on the board, I recall being all how CNC led our board and addressing each and every issue with determination and focus to best serve our students and families while communicating with all the constituents. Only a person with the years of being a leader in the community could have succeeded with everything she was faced with as president of our school board. In every meeting and discussion about how to respond to emergencies, the knowledge of the community and understanding of our school families was critical in shaping how the district operated during the pandemic. Her leadership of the board in establishing a great working relationship with the administration allowed our district to start the new school year with minimal disruption to learning and being able to return to regular operations for the past 2 years. Even after she passed the gavel on, she has continued to be a leader on the board and a resource to fellow board members with her history and knowledge of board operations. Her work the past 2 years on the education, communications, and negotiation committees have been critical to what the district has been able to accomplish toward our goals. On each committee, she's able to provide thoughtful feedback to staff, educate our fellow board members, and provide insight instrumental to the final decisions made. Her contributions to our school district are truly immeasurable. And with that, you on the board, and now that's myself at the meeting. What am I missing? Would ask you about or bring up. And I only speak for all of us and give a big thank you for your service to the school district. We will get your wisdom, sense of humor, dedication to our students. Thank you.
So since I still have a microphone, I will offer, as those words were certainly appropriate to the full board, I'd like to personally thank you for your mentorship, your friendship, and your leadership of the school through, as I noted, through superintendent transition, through a global pandemic, and myriad other issues that were successfully navigated through leadership. And so, moving to my final comments as board president, I'd like to highlight a few accomplishments related specifically to our board ed responsibilities as a governance body. Our board, over the past 2 years, has defined clear multi-year goals for our district related to diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging, as well as data utilization to inform educational methods, programming, and support, and STEAM curriculum enhancements. Those are our 3 primary multi-year goals that we have in place. We have ensured that the full scope of the district's activities are overseen by our Board of Education. And we're in the process of modifying our committee structure to ensure that this will occur going forward. Additionally, we have steadfastly rejected the notion of politicizing educational topics. We have prioritized fiscal prudence in a very challenging economic environment. We requested the administration to put forth a budget in 23-24 that was under the 2% year-over-year increase cap and did not utilize banked cap funding. And that was accomplished. And thank you to Superintendent Huff and Business Administrator Jess for achieving that result for our board and for our community. We reviewed, scrutinized, and ultimately approved a substantial investment in the district's facilities and curriculum, ensuring that this investment will have a meaningful and positive impact on every single student within the Summit School District. We worked constructively with the Summit Education Association to define the terms for contract renewal, and I'll provide more information on that during the negotiation committee out. We integrated student representation onto our board, which was a welcome reminder of why we're all here in the first place. And thank you, Lena, for your comments and your contributions to our board over this past year. Lastly, and most importantly, as a board, we have always prioritized our students and how best to prepare them, each and every one of them, for their futures. This is an immense challenge for a public education system, but I am very happy to report that the Summit School District is uniquely prepared to meet this challenge and to offer each of our students the opportunity to succeed in however each one chooses to define success. I'd like to thank each of our board members for their significant contributions to these great initiatives and outcomes, and a special thank you to Vice President Cho, who has been my partner throughout this past year in dealing with all of the board members that came to us. So thank you. Within this list of accomplishments that I've referenced, I didn't mention any of the fantastic educational work that takes place each and every day within each and all of our buildings. I didn't mention it because our board, quite frankly, deserves no credit for it. That credit goes to our educators, building leaders, and their staff, who are truly exceptional and deserve the praise of our board at every opportunity. And credit for the educational work of this district and the system and culture that supports it also goes to our superintendent, his cabinet, and the business office team. They are absolute creme de la creme in terms of educational leaders, not only in this state, but in this country. We are happy and proud to have each one of you here at Summit. I also want to thank our parents and community members for respectfully sharing your thoughts and concerns with our board. As I said throughout the year, every email and every word spoken during public comment has been heard by our board. And those emails and comments serve to inform and focus our work and the work of this district. Subjects ranging from budgets and spending to curriculum topics to substance abuse concerns have been brought forward and have impacted our thinking in fulfilling our responsibilities. I'd also like to offer a special thank you to Mayor Nora Reyes, as Donna did earlier. As I know this is her last Board of Ed reorg meeting as mayor. You have appointed every board member here on the days, and your collaborative approach and thoughtfulness in selecting your appointees has been valued by our board and has ultimately benefited our community and our students. And I would be remiss if I didn't also thank you for respecting the independence of our board in governing the educational work of our school district. Thank you to my wife Sharon, I think maybe sit there, as well as our kids. Sharon for dealing with the ad hoc schedule commitments that arise as board president, and to my kids for serving as undercover advisors, not so undercover, helping me understand the inner workings of the school system from the eyes of the consumer. Last but certainly not least, I would like to thank our students. I am simply in awe of the energy, talent, and potential within our students. I see it on display everywhere, in their artwork, volunteer work, in plays, shows, musicals, on sports fields, in our assessment data, in graduation outcomes, at award ceremonies, in school newspapers, on playgrounds, in conversations that I have with friends of my children, literally everywhere. It's awesome, and I've been honored to serve these amazing students as board president. Thank you. So my next act is to move to oaths for Jan and Eileen.
Thank you, Mr. President, one last time. And at this time, I would ask Mr. Cho to please join me at the podium. Can you please stand? So, can you please raise your right hand, place your left hand on the Bible, and repeat after me. I, Jan Cho, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments established in the United States
and to the governments established in the United States
and this state
and the state
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people.
so help me God.
So help me God.
I, Jan Cho,
I, Jan Cho,
do solemnly swear
solemnly swear
that I possess the qualifications
that I possess the qualifications
prescribed by law
prescribed by law
for the office of member of the Board of Education,
for the office of member of the Board of Education,
and that I am not disqualified
and that I am not disqualified
as a voter
as a voter
pursuant to RS
pursuant to RS
19:4-1,
19:4-1,
nor disqualified
nor disqualified
due to conviction of a crime
due to conviction of a crime
or offense
or offense
listed in NJSA
listed in NJSA
18:12-1,
18:12-1,
and that I will faithfully,
and I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all duties of that office
and perform all duties of that office
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. Welcome back. So for those of you that are thinking, wow, that really took a long time, a couple of years ago, the state of New Jersey revised the oath, which is why the second paragraph is so long, and I have to take my time so that we don't forget something. So I apologize for the length, but that's the short history as to why. And now I ask Ms. Eileen Kelly and her family to please join us. Would you like to? Please repeat after me. I, Eileen Kelly,
I, Eileen Kelly,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments established
and to governments established
in the United States and this state
in the United States and the state
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people.
so help me God.
So help me God.
I, Eileen Kelly,
I, Eileen Kelly,
do
do
solemnly swear
solemnly swear
that I possess the qualifications
that I possess the qualifications
prescribed by law
prescribed by law
for the office of member
for the office of member
of a Board of
of
Education,
the Board of Education,
and that I am not
and
disqualified
that I am not disqualified
as a voter.
as a voter
See, this is why it's really too long. Pursuant to RS
pursuant to R
19:4-1,
19:4-1,
nor disqualified
nor disqualified
due to conviction of a crime
due to conviction of a crime
or offense listed
or offense listed
in NJSA
in NJSA
18:12-1,
18:12-1,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully
impartially, and justly
and partially
perform all duties of that office
perform all duties of that office
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability. So much.
Congratulations. Now it's time for musical chairs. All right. Now we're going to have a roll call. Ms. Stanton.
Here.
Ms. Kelly.
Here.
Ms. Justice.
Here.
Ms. Erden.
Here.
Mr. Colon. Here. Ms. Cohen.
Here.
Mr. Cho. Here. All right, we have a quorum. At this time, I will ask for nominations for the election for Board of Education President.
I would like to formally nominate Jan Cho for the office of president for the 23-24 school year.
Thank you, Ms. Stanton.
If it's okay, can I say a few words?
Absolutely, please.
Thank you. For the entirety of my year on the board, I have worked directly alongside Jan Cho on both the operations committee and the communications committee. During this time, I have found Jan to be an excellent communicator and collaborator, someone who is a mindful thinker that always puts forth ideas, recommendations, and questions that are sound, thought out, directly aligned with the board's views on both fiscal responsibilities and educational values for our district, as well as others. Specifically during the initial bond proposal and during the current stages of the Investing in Our Future initiative, Jan has worn many hats, viewing all things presented from the perspective of a parent, a board member, and a member of our community, asking questions and revisiting plans to ensure that funds are allocated responsibly and that decisions are made to support continued educational success in our district. Additionally, Jan's ability to be a leader and a team player go hand in hand, and he values input from every single board member, taking the time to not only hear your views, but discuss them at length and provide guidance and/or feedback when you need clarification. As a newer board member getting my feet wet, this was really important to me, and he gained my immediate respect as a result. And while his ability to communicate with the board is beyond strong, his ability to communicate with the community is even stronger. During multiple communications committee meetings, Jan reinforced the importance of communicating our needs, specifically related to the Investing in Our Future initiative, not only to our district-wide community, but our broader community as a whole. It's this sort of big picture view, considering all viewpoints and angles, that makes a great leader and reaffirms that Jan is this guy. Finally, as silly and as simple as it sounds, Jan to his core is a good person. His head and heart are always in the right place. He cares about every member of his board, every member of his cabinet, and every member of the 4,000 plus students in our district. He wants the district to thrive, to continue academic excellence, and to be at its best. And sometimes the silliest and simplest things are the most important of all. I find all of these traits invaluable to our board, and as such, it gives me great pleasure to nominate Jan Cho for president.
Thank you. May I have a second on the nomination, please?
I second.
Ms. Berger. Are there any other nominations for president? Seeing none, we'll take a roll call. Ms. Stanton.
Yes.
Ms. Kelly. Ms. Justice.
Yes.
Ms. Erden.
Yes.
Ms. Cohen.
Yes.
Mr. Colon.
Yes.
Mr. Cho. You can say yes, you can say no, or you can abstain. Congratulations. And now, Mr. Cho, the meeting is yours.
So now we have the election of vice president. So we have a nomination for vice president.
I would like to nominate Julia Justice for the position of Vice President of the Summit Board of Education. Julia has a lot of board experience. She was appointed to the Summit Board of Education in May of 2021. She's proven to be a dedicated board member who is passionate about education. And she has served as the chair of the Education Committee and as members of communication, negotiations, and policy committees. Professionally, Julia has worked in education for over 20 years. She's currently the Chief Equity and Inclusion Officer at Kent Place School. And throughout her career, she's actively worked with marginalized students to provide safe spaces, amplify student voices, and support each individual student's success. She's also a parent of children in the district. She and her husband, Breon, have 3 children currently in the Summit Public Schools, one at high school, one at Lincoln Hubbard Elementary School, and one at Wilson Primary Center. Lilia is thoughtful, and she is very thorough in her approach. She has experience, skills, and the passion to excel in the role of Vice President. And so it's my honor to nominate her for the Vice Presidential role.
We have a second.
Second.
Stand. Sorry, just want to keep you to the second. Are there any, are there any other nominations for vice chair? Seeing none, on the roll, Ms. Stanton,
Yes.
Ms. Kelly, Ms. Justice, Ms. Erde,
Yes.
Ms. Cohen,
Yes.
Mr. Colon,
Yes.
President Cho.
Yes.
Motion carries. Congratulations.
All right, one last little remark. Everybody's been very patient before we get to the audience meeting. I think one of the first things I've learned as a school board member is how the achievements in any one year are largely dependent on the decisions made in prior years. Whether it's student performance, outcomes for graduates, budget, facilities, and having a best-in-class administration and staff, all decisions made in this past play a big role in how things turn out in a given year. So to start, I'd like to thank my predecessors, Dr. Miller, Chris Potter, and Dr. Colon, for their leadership and service to our district for being such outstanding examples of how a school board president should lead and serve. As I start my term as president, I'll use a running analogy, my hobby, to summarize what I see to accomplish. I've been handed this baton or gavel with our district in front of the pack in a long relay race. My goals are simply to stay in my lane, not trip and fall or drop the baton, and at the end of my term, hand off to my successor in our district, still in front of the pack, if not with a bigger lead. Together with my fellow board members, we'll do our best to meet the standards of outstanding performances and successes across our school district, and lead the district well positioned to continue to do so in the future. So now it's time for our student representative, Mr. Gladys, to present her report.
Hi everyone, I'm Monica Gladys, the Student Council Liaison with Student Council, and I'm here to tell you all about the students happening at Summit High School this month. To everyone's relief, APs ended last week, finally marking the start of the end of the 2023 school year. A disease the students like to call senioritis is vastly overtaking seniors in large quantities. But who can blame them as prom, graduation, and senior activities are fast approaching? The prom is funded by the collected funds of class councils throughout the years, and all students returning and leaving are excited about the event. Although the upperclassmen are excited about the end of the year, most of us still have to survive finals, which officially starts on June 8th. Many people have already started studying for the test, which cover the third and fourth quarters of the school year. In sports news, the baseball and lacrosse teams have been having great seasons this past spring. Summit baseball has a 15-5 record, giving them a nice standing going into the postseason. Seniors Spencer Nicely and Wes Helling led the team with multiple home runs, strikeouts, and RBIs. Lacrosse is also having a victorious season this spring. Boys lacrosse, holding 9-3 record, won the Union County Tournament Cup against Westfield 9-10. Daniel Plang, a junior attack, holds a team high of 21 goals this season. I wish all teams luck heading into the postseason. Morgan's message, an organization focused on stopping the stigma surrounding athlete mental health, has also been introduced to the high school this year. Morgan's message was made in the memory of Morgan Rogers, a Duke lacrosse player who sadly lost her battle with mental health following a career-ending injury. The Summit High School softball team, with the help of a student advisor, me, and the coach, successfully held a dedication game against Bayonne last week. The players decorated inspirational posters, which were hung around the field before the game. Seton Hall sports psychologist student and softball player Kaden Jean also came to talk to the team, encouraging them to value their mental health just as much as their physical health. I can't believe it's over. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Next item on our agenda is item number 9, the organization, appointments, and recommendations. So I believe we have in the agenda there covering items A through N. That's right. So do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Ms. Stanton?
Yes.
Ms. Keller? Ms. Erde?
Yes.
Ms. Cohen?
Yes.
Mr. Colon?
Yes.
Vice President Justice?
Yes.
President Cho?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Right now, item number 10 is time for the SCS grant presentation. We have the SCS board members up to the
We're going to be using this, so if the board members want to take a space. Good evening again. I know it's a long meeting. Thank you for hanging in there, but we really enjoy having such a large crowd and sharing all the accolades and the good news of the district. So thank you for all being here, especially the administration and support of the reorganization. The Summit Educational Foundation, if you don't know, is a tremendous partner and resource with Summit Public Schools. Each year they go through 2 grant cycles and donate incredible amounts of money to support our goals, our vision, and our mission of the school district. Many thanks to Amy Burke, President, Heather Thomas, Co-Vice President, Susan Daniels, Grants Chair, and presenting tonight, Michelle Donnelly and Dawn Rumpel, our Grants Chair, for this spring's cycle awards, which once again far exceed any expectations. So much of what we do every year we would not be able to do without the help and support of the SEF, so thank you.
I'm not organized here. Hello, my name is Dawn Rumpel, and along with my partner, Shelley Donnelly, it's our pleasure to lead the SEF grants effort this year. We just finished up another active grant cycle and are privileged to be here tonight to share the results with you on behalf of the Summit Educational Foundation. We closely reviewed and approved an interesting and expansive group of grants this cycle and continue to be impressed by the thoughtful requests from our teachers and administrators across all the schools. We are very pleased to announce the Summit Educational Foundation is awarding 35 grants totaling over $375,000 to the Summit Public Schools for the 2023 spring grant cycle. These 35 grants are spread across all 9 of our schools with a wide range of categories. Over the past few cycles, we have noticed an increased trend towards social and emotional learning grant requests. In fact, it's our largest category this spring. Social and emotional learning, or SEL, can be defined as the process of developing the self-awareness, self-control, interpersonal skills that are vital for school, work, and life success. You've probably noticed that SEL is a hot topic not only here in Summit, but also in schools across the country. We are thrilled to be able to support the district in helping to bring these important programs to our students in such a timely manner. As I mentioned, there are many partnerships that contribute to the success, and I'd like to recognize some of these people. First, we'd like to thank our superintendent, Scott Hubb, Director of Education, Joseph Cordero, Supervisor of Technology, Doug Orr, Business Administrator, Derek Jess, Director of Special Services, Doreen Bavis, and Director of Facilities, Michael Martino. Somehow, this group always has time for even the smallest of our questions, and we thank you very much for your continued support. I'd also like to acknowledge this year's SEF President and our fearless leader, Amy Berg, and co-vice presidents Heather Thomas and Melissa Madden, and of course, the entire SEF board and grants committee members. Thank you all for your endless help. We all know that none of this happens without our amazing teachers and supportive administrators who year after year submit creative and innovative grants. And finally, we'd like to recognize and thank the families in the Greater Summit community for their continued financial support that makes it all possible. The SEF is extremely proud to be involved in these partnerships, working together to continue our mission of supporting the district's curriculum and goals. Thank you all. Okay. So the diverse selection of grants in the spring cycle are spread across all of our schools. Tonight, we will be presenting the grants to align with the district's goals. We'll start with culturally inclusive programming as well as social and emotional learning grants that align with district goal number 1. Next, we'll cover the learning through innovation and language arts focused goals tied to the second goal. And goal number 3 is where we will discuss our STEAM grants that include experiences for all of the students in areas of science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. And finally, we will present some of the Learning Environment Awards. So now let's take a closer look at a sampling of the grants we've approved this cycle. Okay, we're going to start off with the social and emotional learning grants. As I mentioned earlier, this is our largest category with 10 grants totaling over $83,000. These grants teach critical life skills for building confidence, problem solving, and having healthy relationships and respecting others. The Summit Educational Foundation is excited to bring New York Times bestselling author Peter Reynolds to the primary centers and elementary schools for school-wide assemblies, as well as 2 parent events. Reynolds will discuss channeling creativity, building self-esteem, and developing a growth mindset. We will continue to back the ever-popular certified therapy dogs, which with as-needed emotional support for our students at Franklin Elementary, as well as reading support for special education students at Jefferson. We have several interesting SEL grants at the middle school level to share with you. SEF will fund a 1-year subscription plus training to pilot the Social Institute. This technology tool will provide a gamified online learning platform that looks and feels like a familiar social media app. It will empower our students to navigate their social world in order to fuel their happiness, health, and future success. Among applications, the Social Institute will be used to guide the middle school advisory curriculum. It also has an important parent toolkit that can educate parents about social media platforms and assist with conversations around difficult topics. LCJ-SMS is very excited to implement this tool and will look closely at its impact over the year. We are also pleased to partner with the district to bring Stephen Hill's impactful First Choice and a Second Chance Assembly to Summit. The discussion will explore the important topics of addiction, mental health, and resiliency with our 8th grade students and their parents. Hill's powerful, real-life story will provide an inside look of how today's decisions can impact your future. This past year, the middle school administration recognized the need for executive functioning instruction and piloted an after-school course.
It was so successful that Mr. Sofferni wrote a grant, which we were very happy to approve, that will greatly expand this program next year, both in the number of students and course offerings. SEF has been involved in funding of the peer leadership programs for almost 8 years, first at the high school and more recently also at the middle school. We're very proud of our involvement with these exceptional programs that help student transitions, foster new friendships, teach leadership skills, and build community in the student body, as well as with the peer leaders themselves. Also aligned with the district's first goal are grants that promote culturally inclusive programming in our schools. This spring, we have 5 awards in this category, totaling more than $36,000. After attending cultural diversity training at Kane University, the district kindergarten teachers requested this grant, appropriately named Welcoming All. The funds in this grant will be used to purchase items that will bring students' cultures, ethnicities, and self-representation into the daily school experience in a more consistent and intentional way. Some of these items are maps and globes, posters, flags, and many, many books that will be used in all primary center classrooms. This program has already experienced early success, and this grant will help take it to the next level. We will sponsor 1-year unlimited access to the documentary, Can We Compete in This Race to Be Human? This film, along with discussion guides and curriculum, will be used for equity and anti-bias training during Franklin School faculty meetings throughout the school year. Finally, SEF will bring history to life with 2 grants at Lincoln Hubbard and Washington. These live historical performances will give our students a glimpse of how the world looked, sounded, and felt during a significant time in history. Now I'm going to turn it over to Shelley to finish off the rest of our grants.
Okay, moving on to the district's second goal and the Learning Through Innovation category, we are awarding 3 grants totaling over $37,000. In keeping with the goal of utilizing data to inform instructional programming, SEF will continue to fund 3 technology tools that have proven successful in both the middle and high schools. The special education and ESL teachers at the middle school will continue to have access to Literably. Literably is an online reading assessment that provides teachers with detailed reports of students' reading skills, along with instructional modifications based on individual needs. This year, we are expanding the subscription to No Red Ink to all 8th graders at the middle school. No Red Ink is a web-based writing education platform that will remediate and fine-tune writing skills in preparation for 9th grade. Also, we will continue funding the subscription of Formative for all middle and high school students. Formative is another web-based tool that gives teachers the opportunity to create interactive, data-rich learning experiences and assessments. Not surprisingly, the language arts grants often make up a large portion of SEF's funding. This spring, we have 6 grants in this category with the highest dollar amount of $136,421. SEF is proud to support the district's Science of Reading curriculum. In the past few years, we have helped to provide affordable books to kindergarten and 1st grade. We're happy to announce that we will extend this to the district's 2nd grade. Second grade classrooms, as well as the ESL teachers and literacy coaches, will receive decodable books. These books allow students to apply what they are learning during phonics instruction in authentic texts. We will also help support our 2nd grade teachers with a Wiley Blevins professional development series. This 4-part series will focus on meeting the literacy needs of students in the areas of phonics, spelling, and reading. SEF is also pleased to fund a word recognition and language comprehension professional development for kindergarten and 1st grade teachers. What makes this training unique is Lizzie Hetzer, the educational consultant, We'll be conducting demonstrations as well as observing the teachers in their own classroom environment for important hands-on learning. There's a theme here. To support the district's move to a multi-tiered system of support, we are funding a pilot for Tier 3 reading intervention curriculum for the learning workshops at Washington and Jefferson. The goal of this curriculum is to swiftly transition students from the learning workshop back into their classrooms. And last, the middle school librarians are excited to have author and illustrator Jared Lerner visit our middle school students. The visit will include 3 45-minute presentations along with question and answer sessions and book signings. As we move on to the district's third goal in our STEAM categories, we should mention the very popular Innovation STEAM Labs, which are finishing up with a successful year. Rumor has it that STEAM classes have become the most popular special at the elementary schools. We're happy to see the trend continue this spring with 5 STEAM awards totaling over $42,000. A unique full-day in-school field trip is planned for all 5th graders in the district. This is the Hovercraft project, and it will use the engineering design of plan, build, test, and ultimately ride hoverboards. At the end of the day, the students, and hopefully if they're lucky, the teachers, will race their hovercrafts for a true test of engineering design. Our middle school students are lucky to have several opportunities to participate in an array of after-school clubs. SEF is proud to fund the newest middle school club, the Science Olympiad. Students in this club will prepare for and have the chance to compete in STEAM-based competitions throughout the year. Lastly, as the coding and robotics program at the middle school continues to advance, SEF will upgrade the technology of the VEX IQ equipment, allowing students to dive into the fundamentals of robotics and implement coding in a highly motivational way. Our middle school arts program continues to grow with the addition of ceramics equipment for a second art classroom. SEF will also fund screen printing equipment, allowing students to design and print on fabric. SEF is excited for both the ceramics and screen printing grants that will add individual expression to the middle school arts program. And moving in our final category to learning environment. We have approved 5 furniture grants totaling $30,000. As instruction evolves, so does the furniture and equipment in classrooms. SEF continues to be in support of these new innovations. Some highlights of our furniture grants are flexible furniture and carpets for the learning workshop at Brighton, adjustable desks for a 2nd grade classroom at Washington, and flexible furniture to revamp a 6th grade math classroom. Additionally, we are awarding the 2nd grade team at Lincoln Hubbard with various classroom equipment, including dividers for privacy, chair sliders for flexibility, and noise-canceling headphones for student focus. And last, fittingly, is the Z stools at Lincoln Hubbard's art classroom. These stools will match the Z stools previously purchased for the other elementary schools. As you can see from the wide range of approved grants across all the district schools, Summit's teachers and administrators have once again found innovative and creative ways to enhance the education of our students and support the district's curriculum and goals. Including this current grant cycle, SEF has funded more than 2,000 grants, totaling over $10.6 million. These funds go directly to the Summit School District and ultimately to our students. This is something we should all be proud of. We are looking forward to continuing our partnership with both the community and the school district to creating possible for years to come. Again, we are pleased to announce Summit Educational Foundation is awarding $375,821 to the Summit Public Schools for the spring 2023 grant cycle. Thank you very much.
Once again, a special thank you to the SEF. It's just incredible how you come through year after year for everything for our students. And it is for our students, so we thank you so much. And thanks for the big check.
With that again, from the sport perspective, thank you, SEF, for your 20+ years of support for students around the district. Beyond the dollars, I mean, the time and effort on the part of the board and community members, thank you so much. All right, so now we move on to item 12 on the agenda. Superintendent report.
And accept the donation from the Summit Educational Foundation.
Oh, okay. So the motion to accept the donation for the grants from the Education
Second.
Ms. Stanton?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly? Ms. Irvin?
Yes.
Ms. Cohen?
Yes.
Mr. Cologne?
Yes.
Vice President Justice? President Chung?
Yes.
Motion carries.
And now, superintendent.
Thank you, and good evening once again. Thank you for your patience with this longer agenda. Every month I do like to highlight some of the happenings in our schools. I'll be brief. Starting with last week in the district, we celebrated Teacher Appreciation Week. And even though we appreciate deeply all of our staff, I want to send out a lot of thanks to the administrators, PTO groups, community members for getting our teachers lunches, raffles, flowers, and even more throughout the week. It's always a very well celebrated week on behalf of our staff. We've also had the opportunity to celebrate Nurses Day on May 10th and our principals on National Principals Day, May 1st. So thank you all of you. At the primary centers, they welcomed the incoming kindergartners last week for an orientation visit to give them a chance to get familiar with the facilities for this upcoming September. We welcome them. At Brayton Elementary School, the students had author illustrator Christopher Iliopoulos visit Brayton Elementary School. He's the illustrator of the Ordinary People Change the World biography series. He's also written and illustrated 3 picture books and 2 graphic novels, and he works for Marvel Comics. He met with all grade levels and taught students and teachers how to draw several biographical heroes, such as Helen Keller and Albert Einstein. At Franklin Elementary School, they hosted its annual TREPS Marketplace. TREPS is short for entrepreneurship. It's a project-based learning program that teachers and students in grades 4 to 8 learn how to start their own business. 5th grade students have participated in creating their own businesses to sell products to students and parents at the marketplace. Thank you all for participating for our young entrepreneurs. At Jefferson Elementary School, at the end of April, students and families and staff gathered together at the annual cultural festival. Students and families shared and displayed food, traditions related to their family's culture. It was an amazing learning experience and celebration of diversity in the Jefferson Elementary School community. At Lincoln Hubbard, the Give and Give Back fundraiser returned this year with a day of service on April 12th. All students participated in the community series activities. Each grade level partnered with a local organization, learned about its mission, and engaged in a volunteer activity. It was such a great success last year that Lincoln Hubbard community reached their fundraising goal of over $30,000. Since they reached their fundraising goal, students will participate in a special Slime the Principal event held at Lincoln Hubbard community at the beginning of June for Principal Carlin. will be signed by the representatives for each grade. I'm not gonna miss that one. I'm gonna be right there.
Everyone's invited.
Everyone's invited. Thank you. Washington Elementary School, the green team made up of fifth graders volunteered during their recess time to pick up trash around the grounds of Washington School. After 20 minutes of collecting, the team went to the STEAM lab and they weighed the trash. It was 3.5 pounds. The team said they will do it again to make the Washington School and surrounding areas beautiful on Earth Day and every day. At the middle school, on May 4th, they hosted multicultural night. Students and families honored their culture through food, photos, and entertainment. This year, attendees were able to enjoy performances from stage band and bell canto. Visits from henna stations, they had henna stations and big memories of photo booth. Thank you to the PTO for helping fund this wonderful event each and every year. At Summit High School, Principal Grimaldi, and counselors and I had the pleasure of attending the Outstanding Scholars Breakfast for Union County. Congratulations to Lydia Obendier and Sophia Fu, who were recognized as Union County Outstanding Scholars for Summit Public Schools. Quite an accomplishment. And upcoming, we will have the Awards of Excellence Wednesday, May 31st at 6 p.m. in Summit High School cafeteria. In the world of arts, Summit High School's production of Something Rotten received 11 final nominations, 3 honorable mentions, and the Paper Mill Playhouse Rising Star Award. This is Summit's 15th time to be nominated for outstanding overall production of a musical. Congratulations to Ann Pointer and everyone involved for all their efforts and talents in the theater and the arts. And I encourage everyone to please check the extensive schedule of concerts coming up this spring. They're under full flow this week, starting with Music in the Village Green tomorrow night at the high school, and continuing almost every day through graduation in June. Please check that schedule and all are welcome to attend. And finally, for my report, before we get on to the regular agenda business, as you know, I'd like to invite all of our new hires to the board meeting so we can recognize them and the board can put a face to the name and celebrate you as we approve you into our professional team of educators. And I'm going to start with our new principal, but before I do, I have to say a few words about why we were looking for a new principal. And that's because Dr. Cheryl Moretz, who has been in that role as Brighton Elementary School principal for 32 years. Cheryl, the dozens and hundreds of students and staff that you've touched in that time is unmatched. Thank you for everything you've done and your contributions to this community. Please join me in celebrating Dr. Moretz. Now, as I call your name, please stand and remain standing until we get through the list. We only have about 9 or 10. And our new principal of Brighton Elementary School, Mrs. Shane Ziegler. Rose to the top of our selection committee, quite eloquently. She did such a great job, undoubtedly #1 candidate. She has 22 years of elementary teaching experience, 5 years as an assistant principal in an elementary school at South Orange, Maplewood. Welcome, we look forward to your contributions. Elizabeth Contreras, biology teacher, Summit High School. Amanda Zaretsky, learning disabilities teachers consultant, special services. Crystal Williams, school psychologist, special services. Andrew Biker, elementary teacher, Franklin Elementary School. Julie Caputo, elementary teacher, Lincoln Hubbard Elementary School. Sarah Meadows, art music teacher, Jefferson Williams. And Dolores Casada, Spanish teacher, Lawrence C. Johnson, Summit Middle School. As well as, I have this here, Jessica Iandioro is going to be elementary teacher, Jefferson Elementary School. And Caitlin D. elementary teacher, Franklin Elementary School. And that concludes my superintendent's report, President Chow.
We need a motion to approve the new hire.
Motion.
Second.
Ms. Stanton?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Same.
Ms. Erde?
Yes.
Ms. Cohen?
Yes.
Mr. Cologne?
Yes.
Vice President Justice?
Yes.
President Cho?
Yes.
Motion carries.
We will briefly recess for 5 minutes before we resume the rest of the meeting. So those who wish to depart may do so. So continuing with the meeting, next item is item 12.
Continuation of item 12.
Teacher ID and the superintendent ID report. Items A through C. The motion to approve.
So moved.
Ms. Stanton?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly? Ms. Erde?
Yes.
Ms. Cohen?
Yes.
Mr. Cologne?
Yes.
Vice President Justice?
Yes.
President Cologne? I mean, President Cho, see, I knew I was gonna get wrong. You thought about it. Thank you, motion carries. Before we get to the committee reports, there are some additions and revisions to the agenda this evening. Under school board operations, this is included on the agenda. Under school board operations, item D, we're adding the approval of the employee agreement between the Summit Education Association and the Summit Board of Education for the period of September 1, 2023 to August 31, 2027. Under personnel, item N, we are approval to appoint the following support staff pending criminal history review and background checks as required by law. Stefan Bogov, who is a seasonal custodian. Also, under personnel, we are revising item A, aid reappointment corrections. Ms. Correa and Ganella are being reappointed to the middle school. And item Z, flash student workers, we're removing Sophie Busum and Isabella Estupinen. And under policies and regulations, item A, first reading, we are removing the following: P3282, use of social media networking sites, and P4282, use of social media networking sites. Thank you, President Cho.
Thank you. So our next item on the agenda is our committee reports. So we'll start with the education committee.
The Education Committee met on May 4th for 70 minutes. Committee members in attendance from the board, myself, and Jennifer Ide, and from the cabinet, Superintendent Pop, Joseph Rivera, and Mark. Our discussion items. Number 1 was the review of the year, lessons learned, and items to transition to new committee. We had a discussion around topics that were addressed during the parent coffee, and one topic was brought up. The technology tools being used by educators today make it more challenging for parents to facilitate or supplement the learning that is taking place in school. Any information that educators can offer to parents at the beginning of the school year and during the year to assist parents in helping with this learning would be valuable. Item number 2, action plan to EIB. The final report of Summit Public Schools Equity and Audit Action Plan, conducted in partnership with Mayoral Research, is being finalized. Crystal Moore provided the committee with a detailed overview and infographic that breaks down the report. The action plan includes 5 priority areas: access and success, professional development, multilingual programming, stakeholder engagement, and recruitment and retention. Messaging will be communicated through communication and education committees moving forward. Item number 3, HIV grades. The 2021-2022 district and school year report has been released, and the district received a grade of 75, with the highest grade being 78. In order to meet the state requirements, schools must receive a grade of 58. All district schools completed a self-assessment and were graded as follows: Summit High School 73, Summit Middle School 74, Brayton 76, Franklin 75, Jefferson 76, Lincoln Harvard 76, Washington 76, and Jefferson Primary Center 76, and Wilson Primary Center 75. Item number 4, high school Ecuador trip. A proposal was submitted to run a high school trip to Ecuador. Precedence for this trip exists since the trip was conducted prior to COVID. No issues occurred during the past trip, so the trip would tentatively be offered during the 24-25 school year. Students in Spanish 3 or higher are eligible to participate. Aid will be available to students who are interested in participating, and the committee fully supports this kind of educational opportunity for students. Item number 5, ELA Resources Selection Protocol. A protocol is in place to ensure that administrators and supervisors are made aware of the resources selected by teachers and help support the selection process by balancing the resources used within a given course. In addition, the district follows New Jersey state law by incorporating diverse and culturally responsive tests. Item number 6 is state testing. Currently, our students are participating in NJSLA. This testing is a state requirement that began May 1st and will end May 26th. There are no recommendations from the committee at this time, and our next meeting is to be determined once we go through the review of the board committees. And any committee members have any questions? Any board members have questions?
Thank you, Olivia. Next is Operations Committee. I will give my final Operations Committee minutes. The Operations Committee met on May 2nd, at 4:30 for 45 minutes. The district members in attendance were Superintendent Scott Huff, Business Administrator Gary Jess, and Kathy Sarno, and the board members, Molly Cohen, Ellie Stanton, and myself. The first item for discussion was an update on the investing in our future capital projects and the other facility updates. We scheduled a meeting with the city to discuss tap field renovation options. The bid process has started for the Summer High School expansion and revised the bid package options for the LCJ SMS classroom expansion, the HVAC and electrical work to allow contractors to bid for one part or multiple parts for the entire project. And also the Summer High School auditorium subsequent bids will be open later this week. The first accepted project bid is for the grade school window replacement, which will start shortly after the end of the school year. The next item on the agenda was an update on the current year finances. The fiscal year 23 budget actual forecast is for an estimated 3.7 million positive variance, which will be added to the capital reserves, maintenance reserve, and operating reserve fund balances. Currently, there's approximately 3.3 million in capital reserve, 900,000 in the maintenance reserve, and 1.5 million in the operating reserve, and that amount is net of the 2.5 million, which is allocated to next year's budget. Second item was the applications were submitted to the two excess working capital cash investment options, which were approved in April. Sure. Next item on the agenda was the food service update from Tony. The monthly March P&L was $19,875. Year to date is $301,000, which is inclusive of the supply chain adjustment provided by the government. This surplus is restricted for the food service programs only. The staff is working with the company on the capital needs for the cafeteria kitchens at the Summer High School and LCJ. Next item to cover was the updated job descriptions. The staff has been reviewing job descriptions as required by policy for any updates necessary to reflect current duties and requirements. Updates for some certificated staff and other administrative staff have been completed, and also updating the job requirements for certain paraprofessionals and student aides. And that is part of the board action item in terms of the reorganization section of the agenda. The next meeting is May 31st at 3:30 p.m. And then taking a page from Donna Miller's playbook, I would like to highlight some of the major items covered by the operations committee this past year. Not so much what the activity did, but really what the business office, facility staff, and district staff accomplished. To start, the successful approval of the investment in our future project bonds with the work to start soon on the first component. Completed the upgrades and expansion of the HVAC here at Summer High School on budget, and then applied and awarded 2 rebates totaling approximately $5 million for the completed Summer High School HVAC and the planned HVAC work. That money will be returned to the district in the next 24 months. And then the completion of the 24 fiscal year budget coming in with 2% cap. Clearly, the House Committee and the district staff will be very busy understanding the various components of the investment in our future projects in the coming year. Kelly, anything else? No? Any questions from the board? Thank you. So next will be policy.
All right. So the policy committee met on Wednesday, May 3rd for about 32 minutes. In attendance was myself, Superintendent Huff, Robert Magnella, Kathleen Murphy, Jennifer Erde, and Malia Justice. The committee discussed several policy topics, and I'm going to now review them. Actually, I think as many policies as we've done during my time as chairperson, this was the largest number. So I'm going out with a bang here. Thank you, Robert. We started with policy bylaw 0114, which is board member orientation and training, which has been revised. Revisions of the administrative code require updates to this bylaw. The revision changes the requirement for a board member to receive their initial training during the member's first term to within 90 days of the new board member's first term. That initial training must include instruction on the board member's responsibilities regarding the School Ethics Act. Bylaw 0155, board committees, internal. This bylaw is revised because of recent name changes to 2 committees. The name changes include Education and Student Activities - Services and Negotiations and Personnel. Policy and Regulation 2520, Instructional Supplies. Policy and Regulation 2520 have been revised to reflect current best practices. The revision allowed for the superintendent to designate a staff member to develop regulations for the selection and utilization of instructional supplies. They are mandated. Policy 3217 and 4217, use of corporal punishment for teaching staff and use of corporal punishment for support staff. Policy Guide 3217 has been revised to align directly with the administrative code. It addresses situations in which it is appropriate for staff members to use force in dealing with a student. It has been developed to address the administrative code requirements for supports. 3217 is for staff members. 4217 has been developed to address the administrative code requirements for support staff members. Policy 5305, health service personnel. Revisions in administrative code require updates to this policy. The revision to the policy includes requirements for the school physician's license status and required employment contract. Policy 5305 is mandated. Policy and Regulation 5308, student health records. Revisions in administrative code require updates to this policy and regulation. The revisions are minor language changes, but policy and regulation 5308 are mandated. Policy and regulation 5310, health services. Revisions in administrative code require updates to this policy and regulation. These revisions include updates to terminology and removal of provisions that are duplicated. Policy and regulation 5310 are mandated. Policy 6112, reimbursement of federal and other grant expenditures. The Carl D. Perkins Career and Technical Act of 2006 has been recently renamed Strengthening Career and Technical Education for the 21st Century Act. Policy Guide 6112 has been updated to include this revision. Policy 6112 is mandated. Regulation 6115.01, Federal Awards, Funds, Internal Controls, Allowability of Costs. Regulation 6115.01 provides a basic process the school district will use for federally funded programs and grants. Regulation 6115.01 is mandated. Policy 6115.04, Federal Funds, Duplication of Benefits. Policy 6115.04 requires the school district to identify and prevent duplication of benefits. Duplication of benefits occurs when a person or entity receives financial assistance from multiple sources for the same purpose, and the total assistance received for that purpose is more than the total need for assistance. Policy 6115.04 is mandated. Policy 6311, contracts for goods or services funded by federal grants. Policy 6311 requires vendor suspension and disbarment checks to be completed by the school district for the purchase of goods or services funded by a federal grant. These checks are applicable for contracts or purchase orders over $25,000. Policy 6311 is mandated. Policy 7440, school district security. Revisions in administrative code require updates to this policy. Administrative code now requires the district to provide local law enforcement authorities with critical incident mapping data for all schools and school grounds and any subsequent revisions. The revised statute provides a description of critical incident mapping data, and this new requirement replaces the old requirement of providing blueprints or maps. Policy 7440 is mandated. Policy 9100, public relations. It is recommended that this policy be abolished, as it now is covered in mandated policy 9120. And finally, policy and regulation 9140, Citizens Advisory Committee, abolished. There's no longer a legal requirement for policy guide 9140, and the Summit School District does not use Citizens Advisory Committees. It is recommended that policy and regulation 9140 be abolished. So the committee recommendations is first readings of all of the bylaws, policies, and regulations that I have just read, and the abolishment of policy 9100 and policy and regulation 9140. And second readings of policy and regulation 5200, attendance, which was read at the last meeting. Are there any additions from my committee members? Pauline and Jennifer? Are there any questions from the other board members? Thank you.
Next is Communications Committee. Kelly?
The Communications Committee met on May 2nd for approximately 40 minutes. Committee members in attendance were Donna Miller, the chair, Jan Show, and myself, and cabinet members Superintendent Huff, Maureen Callender, and Doug Ford. We first discussed the alumni portal. Maureen Callender shared that the alumni portal is up and running and that the district has already received 5 submissions. One of those was highlighted on social media recently, and it was Summit resident and teacher, Mr. John Ross from LCJ SMS. The committee discussed methods for communicating the existence of this portal and is going to look for ways to market it and solicit submissions. The next 2 things we discussed are essentially old news, but I will share them anyway. Brayton Principal Communications. Superintendent Huff confirmed that the Brayton specific input loops, one set of talks for parents and another for staff, created a clear profile for the next Brayton administrator. Ms. Callender shared the steps that will be taken once the district is ready to announce the replacement. Welcome, Ms. Shane Ziegler. And the steps will include the one-page district-wide infographic communication that has been used the past 2 years to announce newly placed administrators, which is just lovely, by the way, Lorraine. The second communication that is old news is Eileen Kelly. Ms. Callender confirmed that the internal and external communications for our new board appointee, Eileen Kelly, were as planned and following district established protocols. And an invitation was sent to the pre-board member meeting today, and of course we all enjoyed that this evening. So welcome aboard, Eileen. Fourth, we discussed a communication survey. The 2023 communication survey, as seen in our April committee minutes, was distributed and has closed. Ms. Maureen Callender noted that we have a small uptick in parent and staff participation, 917 overall versus 842 last year, and an important uptick within our Spanish language population, 73 this year versus 49 last year. Survey data will be crunched, themed, and discussed in upcoming committee meetings. And lastly, we discussed the Investing in Our Future initiative and communication next steps. Messaging, timelines, and relevant information on projects can only be created post-bidding. Therefore, we are currently in a holding pattern as bids continue to be solicited and reviewed. The committee discussed the importance of communicating as soon as possible with our district community that the 2023-2024 school year will not start with any disruptions to students or educators. We have no recommendations, and tentatively our next meeting is Tuesday, June 6th at 12 p.m. Anyone other than myself have anything to add? No? Okay. Questions?
Thank you, Kelly. Next, Negotiations Committee. Michael, you want to report?
Yes. So the negotiations committee met in April with the SCA representatives, and as was noted in the agenda addendum for this evening, there was an agreement to terms for a contract in that meeting that was ratified by the SCA last week. And so good news. And I would like to thank the committee members, Donna Miller and Belita, for the work that they did to achieve this result, for the cabinet, for serving as mediator in this process, which was extremely helpful. And also thank you to Tiffany Bennett and the SCA and their representatives for a transparent and constructive process, which reflected the professionalism of our educators. And so thank you for running a process that worked well. Neither party achieved everything they were seeking, which is the sign of a good agreement. So glad that we accomplished that. And it is a 4-year agreement. I think that runs through 2027, correct?
So that is my report. There's no negotiation meeting scheduled as of now.
Next, liaison reports. Did anybody liaison? Kelly?
So I attended my first SCF meeting on May 2nd, and as you saw in the spring grant cycle presentation, there is endless hard work, time, and energy put into reviewing and approving these grants during each cycle, and this spring there was no exception to that. So on behalf of the entire board, I want to say thank you. SCF is an enormous gift for our district, and we not only see but appreciate the tireless dedication of everyone involved in making those grants happen. And just as our school board is going through reorganization, SCF is also going through the same process with new members and chairs, so we are very excited for them and look forward to welcoming their 23-24 edition.
Thank you, Kelly. So next item, item 14, is the public comment, and we'll start with comments on items on the agenda. And Mr. Justin, just briefly,
Yes.
guidelines for public comment?
Yes, President Cho. Anyone wishing to speak shall first seek recognition by the presiding officer. Please come to the microphone and state your name and address in a clear, audible tone for the record. All comments should be directed to the board president and not an individual member of the board. Unless additional time is granted by the board president, please keep your comments to 3 minutes or less. In addition, please note that this portion of the meeting is for public comment and not meant to be a back and forth. Board members and administration will not respond to questions or comments at this time. However, information will be provided as soon as possible.
Any comments for items on the agenda? Seeing none, we'll move on. Oh, sorry, please.
Go.
Okay, hi, my name is Barbara Faringa. I live at 1 Little Wolf Road in Summit, and I thank you for the opportunity to speak. Thank you all for all your hard work. I know I heard today all of the great things that you do, and I know that it's voluntary, so I really appreciate it. My comment is in regards to the NJSLA reports that were made available to the public in April. It took me a while to go through them, and what I see for Summit is that we apparently have missed the math target. And so my comment is, I would like for the board to find a way for us to have a deeper dive into the data and to understand the why behind that. I came to the coffee with you, and am I allowed to? Yes, I am allowed to address myself to you. I feel like it's important for the community to understand. I'm sure there are lots of reasons why we missed the target. It might be that the target was too high, there might be COVID. I just feel like as a community, we should delve into that, and I would ask the board to help in that endeavor. Thank you.
Any other comments for items on the agenda or comments not on the agenda? Seeing none, so we need a motion to close public comment.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Now we are to item 15, the approval of board minutes. Item A, minutes from April 13th, as well as the meeting on April 24th. So motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Any abstentions? Motion carries.
Item 16, curriculum instructional program. We have A through G. Motion to approve.
Second.
Ms. Stanton?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Steve.
Ms. Erde?
Yes.
Ms. Cohn?
Yes.
Mr. Cologne?
Yes.
Vice President Justice?
Yes.
President Cho?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item 17, which is finance, long list of items on the agenda there, A through double D or DD. So motion to approve.
So moved.
Ms. Stanton?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Steve.
Ms. Erde?
Yes.
Ms. Cohn?
Yes.
Mr. Cologne?
Yes.
Vice President Justice?
Yes.
President Cho?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item 18, operations, which are A through the D, which is inclusive of the employment
God bless
agreements
you.
between the SEA and our school district. Motion to approve.
So moved.
Ms. Stanton?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly? Ms. Erde?
Yes.
Ms. Cohen?
Yes.
Mr. Cologne?
Yes.
Vice President Justice?
Yes.
President Cho?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item 19, personnel, letters A through J. And there's an update that was I suggested in January for letter N. So motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Stanton?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly? Ms. Erde?
Yes.
Ms. Cohen?
Yes.
Mr. Cologne?
Yes.
Vice President Kelly? Vice President Justice, man, I'm almost up to it. Thank you. And President Cho?
Yes.
Oh, I'll get it right next week.
All right. Item 20, policies and regulations. I think first reading for item letter A and second reading for letter B as updated as noted by Mr. Jess. Motion to approve.
So moved.
Ms. Stanton?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly? Ms. Erde?
Yes.
Ms. Cohen?
Yes.
Mr. Cologne?
Yes.
Vice President Justice?
Yes.
President Cho?
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right. Last item, item 21.
Well,
Motion to adjourn.
before they want to go into executive session, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so, whereas pursuant to NJSA 10:4-12B, the Board of Education may exclude the public from that portion of the public meeting where the board discusses any of the matters set forth at NJSA 10:4-12B 1 through 9. Now therefore be it resolved that in accordance with the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act, the Board of Education shall conduct a closed session pursuant to the provisions of NJSA 10:4-12B for the purpose of discussing the following matters. Personnel. It is anticipated the length of this executive session will be no more than 30 minutes and that action will not be taken in public after the executive session and the board will not return. May we have a motion to go into executive session, please?
So moved.
Thank you. May I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And now may we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Meeting's adjourned at 8:34. Thank you, everybody.